Right, Johnny, so we need to get you a lesson in time differences.
I know it's 2 hours behind.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
quarter to two, not quarter to one, Welsh time. Apologies for that, Mr. Bennett, but thank
No
you very
problem.
much for accommodating us today. Welcome to Balls Radio. Nice to chat to you again.
Yeah, fine. I'm speaking to John, am I?
John, Darren, and
Yeah.
Simon are here, the whole
Right.
Balls crew in studio here. And you're no doubt, where are you? Somewhere in Cardiff at the moment.
John, hang on a second. This phone is crackling up. I'm just going to... Can you try that other phone very quickly? This is crackling again. Terrible. No, don't be alert. If it's better.
Just changing the phones quickly.
Hello?
Hey, Phil, is that
Oh,
better?
much better.
That's better. I think it's our phones are crackling. We've had high winds and rain and everything, so whether that's affected, I don't know. No problem. I can hear you fine now.
Because even on a crackling phone, that Welsh accent still sounds like poetry.
Good. Yeah.
Well, nice to chat to you again, and looking forward to a big test match between the Springboks get a crack at the British Lions this weekend.
Yeah, it's a great weekend. It's building up to a wonderful match on Saturday, and the Springboks played so well recently. That fantastic game, one of the great games I've seen against New Zealand, which everybody enjoyed. Up against a Welsh side that is buoyant, won the Six Nations, provided 10 British Lions for the third and final test against Australia, and they won the test series. So everything's looking forward to a wonderful game on Saturday.
Do you think they should have just put the whole Welsh team in that British Lions side?
I think there's been enough rows about that side because the great Brian Driscoll got sort of left out of the party, and I think half of Ireland went on strike. So I don't know. I think you pick your best side when you're on a Lions tour, and the Welsh Lions were playing particularly well. And I'm sure if there had been 10 Englishmen, Scotsmen, and Irishmen in that final side for the third match, you just get on with it, and they proved their worth because they won the series for a first Lions series for a very, very long time.
Absolutely. Just you mentioned the weather and saying wind, rain, and all kinds of other elements that have crept over Wales there. What is the prediction for the weekend? Because the Springboks were kind of hoping on rain so that they can play under a closed roof.
Yeah, it's amazing this morning. Your coach, Mayer, has been saying he wants it to rain all week. Well, I think he'll get his wish. I looked at the long-range weather forecast, and it's giving sunshine and showers, but mainly rain for the rest of the week. And we've had a terrible conditions the last weekend. So I think he wants the players to play in those conditions so they'll be ready when the World Cup comes around in 2015, that they've had a taste of what it's like to play in the mud, and and he's keeping his cards close to his chest. He doesn't say yet whether he will want the roof closed or whether he wants it open. I think he feels as well that he's got a pack of forwards, big men, who wouldn't mind playing in the mud and rain. No, the Millennium Stadium pitch hasn't been in the greatest nick recently. The World Cup Rugby League was played there about a week or so ago, and it didn't look that great. So I don't know, with all this rain at the moment, I think your coach will be very happy if he wants those rainy, wet conditions.
Yeah. There seems to be a kind of a thread running through some of his comments and what he's been saying this week. And I don't want to say, again, we're sitting in the same situation. And maybe, Phil, you can give us a little bit of insight into what the attitude is there after your season when your teams have to come down south. But over here, there's always some debate about either the players are too tired, don't take your guys that have been playing all year because they need some time to rest. And now Heineke's talking about, using this as an opportunity to have a look at some of his potential younger World Cup squad players, first of all, and second of all, once again, the debate about which players should or shouldn't be there, and because of the long season. Do you have the same debates at the end of your season when you guys have got to head south?
Yeah, it's very much that same debate, and recently, like Warren Gatland has rested the likes of Ryan Jones because his body's been battered, and he's left a few other players at home when they've had tours. And it's finding the right balance, I'm sure the coach is a very shrewd man. He gets a great name from the Welsh manager, saying that he's done a wonderful job with the Springboks. But he will know the players that are tired, The players have got something left to give. And I mean, if he could sign off with some victories, in this autumn series, then it'd be a great boost for the side. But what he doesn't want is some players through fatigue getting injured and the Springboks maybe losing because they look tired. I mean, England beat the All Blacks last year in the autumn series, and the All Blacks looked a very, very tired side. And that has to be the balance. But rugby these days, it's 12 months around the year. The calendar is brutal, and the players are taking huge knocks on that. They're bigger men than they used to be, and I think you have to strike a balance, really, and that's where a good coaching staff comes in. And that's why we've been very lucky in Wales. I can only read about Mayer and seen the good job he has done. Yeah. But we've been very lucky. We've got Gatlin, Sean Edwards, Robert Howley, a good coaching staff in Wales, and they see that the players are on top form at the right time. Otherwise, they're rested and they're brought in when they're fresh and ready to play.
Yeah. And a slightly different kind of build-up. I mean, the crazy scenario, first of all, you've never heard, I think, the Springboks ever asking for a wet, soggy conditions in any test match. That's the first one. And the second one is that in Wales, of all places, the arrival of the Springboks and the build-up to the test overshadowed by this silly game called soccer.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. The build-up has been incredible over the last day or so. It's been building up for weeks. Sean Edwards, a great rugby league player, now the Wales defensive coach, is saying, prepare for a war. The gladiators are set for battle on Saturday. We meet in these giant Springboks, so physical and ruthless. But you're perfectly right. On Sunday at Cardiff at the City Stadium, Swansea, a town, city 10 miles from where I live, were playing Cardiff City in the Premiership, first time ever in the Premiership, and it was a huge occasion. They don't like each other particularly, Swansea and Cardiff soccer, and thankfully, the game went off without any trouble. Supporters came back to Swansea particularly safe, and there was no fighting, etc., outside the grounds like they were years ago. So it was a wonderful occasion, and that took over. And I must admit, rugby has taken a back seat over the last few months or so, while Swansea and Cardiff have got in. Cardiff beating Man City, Swansea in the Europa Cup. So soccer is big in Wales at the moment, and it's challenging the young people of Wales, to say it's always rugby you played and soccer. You played soccer as well, but rugby was the main sport. Yeah. But with these two sides doing very, very well, I think the Welsh Rugby Union have got their hands full to get their marketing right, their pricing right, and they make sure they get the people coming to the games.
Yeah, so normal service would be resumed, obviously, if particularly with the Wales win this weekend. Do you think that's... Well, I mean, how does Phil Bennett see it? Does he predict a Wales win?
I think Wales are a very good side these days. I would always say over the last 4 or 5 years, without being disrespectful to the Welsh pack, in those days there were some young players on the side, and I always felt that South Africa, New Zealand, especially South Africa, with the Victor Matfield, Bakkies Botha, all these big men, Du Plessis, who I think is the best hooker in the world. I felt they had a pack of forwards who could bully the Welsh pack. But now we've got big men as well. We've got Adam Jones, one of the best tight end props in world rugby. Ibad's a big hooker. Ali Wynne-Jones in the second row. Faletau. So I think we've got a pack. We dominated the Six Nations last year. Took France apart, took England, destroyed England. Now, my big question, and what I want to see on Saturday, can the Welsh pack stand up to the Springbok pack, not be bullied, take them on? I think if we can do that, and they showed with their performances in the Six Nations, with their performances in Australia, they have to stand up to you big fellas coming down from the Southern Hemisphere. And I believe if they can stand up to that, it's anybody's game. The conditions could be play a big part. We've got one of the best kickers in world rugby in Lee Halfpenny. And for me, I think Warren Gatlin can say, yeah, we might move the ball wide and all this. You and I know at the end of the day, it's winning that is vitally important. And if it means that Reece Priestland, who's been brought back into the side at number 10 at the expense of Daniel Bigger, if he has to kick all afternoon, if he has to put it down there, and Lee Halfpenny kicks the penalties, so be it. It is a vital game for Wales mentally on Saturday. If they lose this to the Springboks, they'll be a bit devastated because they believe they're catching up very quickly with the Southern Hemisphere sides, and they need a victory desperately on Saturday.
That's pretty awesomely put and summed up there, Phil. And looking forward to an absolutely fantastic clash on Saturday at the Millennium Stadium, whether the roof is going to be on or off. It's fantastic listening to you speak. We appreciate your time this afternoon, Phil. Thank you very much, and enjoy the big game.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward with great interest to the match on Saturday. It should be a cracker.
Interview. Also appreciate your chance to your opportunity to have a chat to you. I know it was kind of not the time that you were expecting, so we really do appreciate it. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Phil Bennett, the legendary Phil Bennett.
Phil Bennett.
Can you not just listen to that Welsh accent all day?
From Wales.
Get that and your other favorite sound clips from bulls.co.za now.